All right, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Minetest Gameplay of sorts. Yeah. And I've recovered from a massive server failure. So, this is the Digtron Part 2 as everything loads up. And I'm running this world on a server under my desk, which is a Manjaro server. Sort of. Yeah. All right. So we are going to go back out to the Digtron area, and I'll explain the server crash in a moment. However, there's train tracks. Everything's loading in. The response, it's not as responsive as my DigitalOcean server, but why am I going up? But we have some more things with the Digtron. Like I said, it's part 2. This is the features that I left out of part 1. So after part 1, on the subreddit, the Minetest subreddit, the developer Face Deer had reached out to me and explained a few things that I didn't understand before about the tubes and about the power and everything else. So, and the stairs, which I'll show in a second. So what we are going to do is make sure I'm re-recording this because I had some problems with the first recording. Let's see here. I want to make sure I have everything that I need. So hopefully everybody's doing well. In Chicago, it is a sweltering 94 degrees. Yep. I want to make sure that this Digtron does not get blocked. One of the things was about shift left clicking, and as you can see, it doesn't work for me. What I'm using a Mac, so maybe the key log or the key combinations are a little different. So your mileage may vary on that. I'm gonna leave those there since that's facing. Okay. So basically what I've done is I've added the power control module, which is already set to maximum power because why not? And I have my ejector set to automatic, so it'll automatically eject whatever it comes in contact with. We have a battery box with 2 chargeable batteries in it, and down here we have the tube. Now one of the things that if I add a builder, and let's put a builder here, but let's face it this way. So one of the problems that I did run into is sometimes it doesn't read. Let's see, this is a crossing. We just want the regular pneumatic tube. There we go. And occasionally you'll put the item in front of it and we're going to read and save. So now it'll save it. Now that one worked. I wonder why. Let's try this. Let's try this again. Take that out. Put that there. Now, oh. It automatically brought in the different one. Before, what it was doing was it was not letting me put the tube that I wanted. I had to go into the give me command. So now over here, and we have just a small power setup. A small power setup. You know how I like my solar. Yeah, I think we have enough power here. So in the battery boxes, you put your batteries to recharge. And let's just grab 2 more here. And we're going to stick them in there. Wow, they charge quick. And I only do things high voltage. So I am in, now I messed this up before. I am in creative. So if you're going to build all this stuff from survival, it's going to take you a while. So we come over to the battery box and we are going to put 2 more batteries in here because why not? We can. And we're going to put some more garbage in front of here because you're going to love this. So what'll happen is when I start this puppy up, we're getting power from solar. And if you can watch some of my other videos on how to set up a quarry and the mining and stuff, we are going to go forward and you'll see this all work. So we are going to go 10 cycles. And you can see that it's laying the tubes, it's laying the power, and we have stuff coming through the pipes. So if we come over here real quickly, we're going to race the pipes to my little storage container, and you're going to see the items come in through the tubes. Come on. You can do it. Why isn't there they come? So we have 9 blocks, 2 ladders, everything that I had thrown over there. Very nice. And we can also power said machine. We are going to disconnect the power. Yes, we are, because we have batteries. And we're going to go let's go another 5, let's say. Now we're running without power. And we're digging. So that's how that works. Very, very nice. Now, one of the other things I've pointed out, if you're going to use the tubes, you can left click or right click on that and set this to automatic. There is a creative mode setting where you could actually go into the menu in the beginning. When you boot up the game, you go into the mod menu and you could set this to where it requires no fuel. It'll run just by itself. I kind of like having the interaction of having to add the supplies and fuel to the machine. It's just an added element of the game. So that takes care of that. So those are the missing power features that I worked on last time. And I had misread a forum post about the stairs. It turns out that when you look in the when you look at the forums, as you can see here, I have stairs. Yes, I do. This is cool because when I was playing with this, these were just caverns that were already made. So there's another one here. It's going to be kind of cool to play with that area. So what'll happen is, do I have enough stuff in here? 84. Okay. So what'll happen is you put the stair down and you hit the read and it'll read just fine. I had read somewhere in the forum that somebody was having a problem with the stairs with the on place command, that they weren't facing properly, but it's just like any other block. So let's go down 5 cycles. Now let's go down 10 because you can see the coolness of it. So every 5 cycles, I have this place a light, punch a hole and place a light. There we go. And it punched another hole. And it should be coming. There we go. Found some cool. What is that? There's something down there. So that's how that works. And it works quite well. So those are the missing features. And it didn't dawn on me that, you know, obviously you're building everything. So if I'm building walls around the complete, I'm building a mine shaft. So I have the walls, ceiling, and floor already built by the machine. And then I use more builders to build the wooden structures. You know, why wouldn't I do the same thing with the tubes if the tubes wouldn't stay? So it just didn't dawn on me. And so there's another thing about the Digtron. And I just saw a video on Nathan's channel, Minetest videos, about the tunnel test, where it has these 3 pickaxes of different strengths, and it gives a grid that you can select. So we have something kind of cool, and we have mining drill, and we have a laser, and of course, like everything else in life, you have to charge those devices. So we're going to let that charge real quick. And I think that needs to, yeah, it needs to be charged too. When change mining drill. Let's see what we're at here. Oh, that's good enough. Oh, I know what I did. So when you have the laser, you can obviously do cool things. Hey, those are my railroad tracks. Oh, we don't, even though that now that this is a test world, we really don't want to break. We don't want to break our stuff here. So you can see the damage that thing's going to cause. And of course, I didn't bother to look where I was placing, shooting my said laser. That's why lasers are a very dangerous thing and should only be used by professional trained laser people. Yeah, we'll go with that. So those are the missing features from that. And I wish I would have figured that out and had all this in one nice packaged video. And as you can see here, I have a battery box set up so at night everything runs. So what ended up happening, we're going to come over here. There was a way of, I don't know what that, okay. So that's kind of cool too. It doesn't do as much damage as the laser, but it works. But I do want to try out that tunnel test. That looks like something that would be very, very cool. But this is a Digtron Part 2 episode. So what ended up happening is, but that's what we have for the mining tools. And using the Digtron, like I said, it's a lot of fun because you interact with it. So there's a lot of different ways that one can use this. And like I said, you interact. There is a way of shutting off where you can run this thing without fuel in creative mode, but yeah, it's part of the game. So it's however you want to play with it. So what ended up happening is I was building a huge Digtron down in my quarry. So off in the distance over here, where that big humongous tree is the underground secret squirrel laboratory. And then over here is the castle. And what one has to understand is that I have multiple trains from advanced trains. I have 3 different solar arrays powering the factories. I have 2 nuclear power plants all running. About 5 blinky plants powering a whole pipe network and furnaces. And even they're not running, but I do find some lag. What is that? Shiny. And so a lot of different things going on in this area here. And one of the problems was I built this mega Digtron. I mean, we're talking it had 20 dig heads, and it also had, it was going to build the sides and inlay the lumber. And what I did is I initially started with this one. I packaged it up in a crate, and I brought it down into the quarry, and I was right next to the nuclear power generator. So when I unpacked it and tried to rotate it, even though it said it was clear, it kept saying it was obstructed. So like every patient builder, I kept clicking on it and clicking on it. Well, that was the wrong thing to do, because at that point in time, something in the game, and I can't find where, but something in the game glitched, and the database became locked, and the database got corrupted. So the next thing I noticed was the crash. I got the message shutting down. That means that the server shut down. Went back, checked everything out. Everything looked okay. I didn't know the database was corrupted at that point. But I restarted the game and was playing fine. So we're done. Oops. We are done over here with the Digtron. Those are the missing features. We have the battery box. We have the power, maximum power. It'll tell you how much it requires. As you can see, I have sufficient power. 2,900, and I have 46,000. Yep. So yeah. This is one of my favorite mods. Hands down, one of my favorite mods. So basically what it ended up happening is I had this mega Digtron, and constructing it, the server crashed. So I said, well, I'll try that again later. And I went back over here to my castle, and I put a fountain in over here. Wow. I was in extended view mode. I put a fountain in, and I came over here and I had a Japanese style lantern that I had constructed, and I put it in the wrong place. I was just playing around with some blocks. So I went to move it, and when I clicked on it to destroy it, to take the block, what ended up happening is nothing. I mean, it was like, yeah, that's all you were doing. And I went, uh-oh, that's not good. And in this area, I had been experiencing some lag. I don't know why. Now I'm not. So right now I have 20 FPS, feet per second, or feet per second, frames per second. Now, 21, and it'll start picking up when I get over here. No, it's not. It's at 20. And my Tory, everything was gone. When I clicked on it, nothing happened. Waited a few seconds, clicked on it a couple more times to see what happened. And I went to try to place a block, and I got the server shut down again. So ultimately, when I went back in and looked at at the debug file, because I had opened up the debug file to log all errors, it had no errors. It was completely clean. The only thing I did is I tried restarting the game, and the game would not restart. It would immediately crash after about 5 seconds after booting it up. And so I went into the terminal, and Michael should be proud. I opened the terminal up and ran Minetest space or -- server, and there it was, that the database was unable to write, unable to insert, and because the disk image for the database was malformed, corrupted database. There are a couple things that cause a corrupted database, and it's mainly, so it's not the mods, because I've been using the Digtron ever since this world began. This world is over a year old. So I have numerous builds on here, and this is a testament to having a backup. Always back up your world before doing anything major. So I only lost like an hour worth of building. I had to rebuild my gate, put my screens back in, stuff like that. Nothing major. But then, because I am a database administrator, IT person, unemployed DBA, so I was senior IT tech for Circuit City stores, and then did a bunch of help desk and other IT support. And my contract ended, so I'm still unemployed. However, I went back to school and got my bachelor's degree in computer science and database administration. But there's a catch-22 because the DBA jobs that I'm looking at, even entry-level jobs, which are still paying better than IT jobs, I don't have the corporate experience to get the job. So how do you get the job? You need experience. So it's that catch-22 about, you know, you're not experienced enough, but you can't get the job because you don't have the experience. You know what I'm getting at. So I'm still trying. So the database that's used in Minetest is SQLite, which is a public domain database, embeddable database. And embeddable means if you use Firefox, I believe Chrome uses it. Many programs will embed SQLite because it's free. There's other ones that I've played with. There's the OpenOffice base, which it escapes me the embedded database in that, but I use that one. Yeah, that was very good. Apache Derby is my all-time favorite. I've used that in my Java applications. I use SQLite in my Java applications, and it's what. So if you use Firefox, SQLite is what stores all your bookmarks and history and everything else. So I was able to take. If you look in your world, you will find that there's a file in there called map.sqlite. And that is the database for all the world blocks. And I was able to go in there and run an integrity check, and it found out that there was unused pages and there was corruption in the database. And by exporting the data to another file and then re-importing it was one way to fix it. I found some of my backups. There was this problem with the database had been going on for a couple days, and there's other commands like the vacuum command and stuff like that. I was able to repair 2 of the databases. So this is the last one before the server crashed. I love when the moon comes up, and I was able to recover this world. So you can recover. However, I have a year's worth of build data on here, and I have at no less than at any time 4 backups of my world. So there's a backup on my main server, DigitalOcean server. There's a backup on my Mac. There's a backup on my Dropbox account, and there's a backup on my server that you're looking at right now. So and data is only as important to the value of the data is only important to the person using it. So if you just have a regular world and you really don't care about the backup because you just spawn a new world and start over again, so be it. But if you have a year's worth of build data and builds, yeah, you're gonna want you're gonna want to have backups. But it was really cool that I was able to recover the database. It does take a long time with the one computer I was using, because there was over 380,180 records in that database, and there's only 2 fields in the database: position and block in the blocks table. Position and whatever. One's a blob, binary large object, and the other one's just an integer. And that's how it stores its game data. So basically, I had the perfect storm of crashes in that that several things were trying to write. The data couldn't be written because the database was in a weird state and the program crashed. And that's how you lose a whole afternoon. So I want to thank you for watching. Thanks again to Vaster for reaching out and explaining some of the things on the mod, on the Digtron. So now you can power it three different ways. Well, 4 if you count the creative switch, and go from there. So that wraps up the Digtron. And until the next video, thanks for watching, and goodbye.